Hello, welcome to First Chapter Friday. Our story today is based on true events. They are now a historical fiction in the book Salt to the Sea. Salt to the Sea is by Ruta Sepetys. It's a book that should be turned into a movie. It's an untold story about a huge shipwreck that occurred worse than the Titanic, and yet somehow it got buried because the Nazis didn't want a failure to get out. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The beginning that I'm going to read, it's not per se by chapter, it's introducing the characters that are in this journey, and they are actually, surprisingly, running to the Germans, to the Nazis, for safety. A lot of people don't realize just how bad the Soviets were at that time. This is a 1936 pre-war map. It is included so that you can see what the journey is going to be and get an idea of where the different characters are from. Joanna. Guilt is a hunter. My conscience mocked me, picking fights like a petulant child. "It's all your fault," the voice whispered. I quickened my pace and caught up with our small group. The Germans would march us off the field road if they found us. Roads were reserved for the military. Evacuation orders hadn't been issued, and anyone fleeing East Prussia was branded a deserter. But what did that matter? I became a deserter 4 years ago when I fled from Lithuania. I had left in 1941. What was happening at home? Were the dreadful things whispered in the streets true? We approached a mound on the side of the road. The small boy in front of me whimpered and pointed. He had joined us 2 days prior, just wandered out of the forest alone, and quietly began to follow us. "Hello, little one. How old are you?" I asked. 6, he replied. "Who are you traveling with?" He paused and dropped his head. "My Omi." I turned toward the woods to see if his grandmother had emerged. "Where is your Omi now?" I asked. The wandering boy looked up at me, his pale eyes wide. "She didn't wake up." So the little boy traveled with us, often drifting just slightly ahead or behind. And now he stood, pointing to a flap of dark wool beneath the meringue of snow. I waved the group onward, and when everyone advanced, I ran to the snow-covered heap. The wind lifted a layer of icy flakes, revealing the dead blue face of a woman, probably in her 20s. Her mouth and eyes were hinged open, fixed in fear. I dug through her iced pockets. But they had already been picked. In the lining of her jacket, I found her identification papers. I stuffed them in my coat to pass on to the Red Cross and dragged her body off the road and into the field. She was dead, frozen solid, but the thought of tanks rolling over her was more than I could bear. I ran back to the road and our group. The wandering boy stood in the center of the path, snow falling all around him. "She didn't wake up either?" he asked quietly. I shook my head and took his mittened hand in mine. Then we both heard it in the distance. Bang! Florian. Fate is a hunter. Engines buzzed in swarms above. Der Schwarztod, the Black Death they called them. I hid beneath the trees. The planes weren't visible, but I felt them, close. Trapped by darkness both ahead and behind, I weighed my options. An explosion detonated, and death crept closer, curling around me in fingers of smoke. I ran. My legs churned, sluggish, disconnected from my racing mind. I willed them to move, but my conscience noosed my ankles and pulled down hard. "You are a talented young man, Florian." That's what Mother had said. "You are Prussian. Make your own decisions, son," said my father. Would he have approved of my decisions, of the secrets I now carried across my back? Amidst this war between Hitler and Stalin, would Mother still consider me talented or a criminal? The Soviets would kill me, but how would they torture me first? The Nazis would kill me, but only if they uncovered the plan. How long would it remain secret? The question propelled me forward, whipping through the cold forest, dodging branches. I clutched my side with one hand, my pistol with the other. The pain surged with each breath and step, releasing warm blood out the angry wound. The sound of the engines faded. I had been on the run for days, and my mind felt as weak as my legs. The hunter preyed on the fatigued and weary. I had to rest. The pain slowed me to a jog and finally a walk. Through the dense trees in the forest, I spied branches hiding an old potato cellar. I jumped in. Bang! Amelia. Shame is a hunter. I would rest a moment. I had a moment, didn't I? I slid across the cold, hard earth toward the back of the cave. The ground quivered. Soldiers were close. I had to move, but I felt so tired. It was a good idea to put branches over the mouth of the forest cellar, wasn't it? No one would trek this far off the road, would they? I pulled the pink woolen cap down over my ears and tucked my coat close near my throat. Despite my bundled layers, January's teeth bit sharp. My fingers had lost all feeling. Pieces of my hair, frozen crisp to my collar, tore as I turned my head. So I thought of August. My eyes dropped close, and then they opened. A Russian soldier was there. He leaned over me with a light poking my shoulder with his pistol. I jumped, frantically pushing myself back. "Fräulein," he grinned, pleased that I was alive. "Come, Fräulein, how old are you?" 15, I whispered. "Please, I'm not German. Nicht Deutsche." He didn't listen, didn't understand, or he didn't care. He pointed his gun at me and he yanked at my ankle. "Shh, Fräulein." He lodged the gun under the bone of my chin. I pleaded. I put my hands across my stomach and I begged. He moved forward. No, this would not happen. I turned my head. "Shoot me, soldier, please." Bang! Alfred. Fear is a hunter, but brave warriors, we brush away fear with a flick of a wrist. We laugh in the face of fear, kick it like a stone across the street. Yes, Hannelore, I compose these letters in my mind first, as I cannot abandon my men as often as I think of you. You would be proud of your watchful companion, Sailor Alfred Frick. Today I saved a young woman from falling into the sea. It was nothing really, but she was so grateful she clung to me, not wanting to let go. "Thank you, sailor." Her warm whisper lingered in my ear. She was quite pretty and smelled like fresh eggs, but there have been many grateful and pretty girls. Oh, do not be concerned. You and your red sweater are foremost in my thoughts. How fondly, how incessantly I think of my Hannelore and the red sweater days. I'm relieved you are not here to see this. Your sugared heart could not bear the treacherous circumstances here at the port of Gotenhafen. At this very moment, I'm guarding dangerous explosives. I'm serving Germany well. Only 17, yet carrying more valor than those twice my years. There is talk of an honor ceremony, but I'm too busy fighting for the Fuhrer to accept honors. Honors are for the dead, I told them, and we must fight while we are alive. Yes, Hannelore, I shall prove to all of Germany there is indeed a hero inside of me. Bang! I abandoned my mental letter and crouched in the supply closet, hoping no one would find me. I did not want to go outside. And that is introducing all the characters who will be on this journey. So, like I said, they are fleeing the Soviets, Stalin, and they're going to support each other and uncover each other's secrets as the book continues. Kind of like the book by Alan Gratz, Refugee. It all will tie together, and you will care deeply about whether they survive or not. Fantastic book. Like I said, needs to be a movie. And I really appreciate that you started the journey with me for this first chapter. I hope that you continue because it is really worth the trip. I know that was very corny, but that's okay. All right. Have a great week, and I will see you later.